The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space, glittering like distant fires. On the edge of the Orvath cluster, a group of explorers floated around a derelict asteroid, their sleek ships casting reflections on the uneven rock. The Orvath were proud, precise, and ruthless in their pursuit of knowledge. Technology was their lifeblood, intellect their currency. Nothing primitive ever held their interest until now. The discovery had been accidental. The asteroid was supposed to be barren, a fragment of rock left over from long-forgotten wars. But as the lead explorer, Vryn, scanned the surface with his sensors, he froze. There, half buried in dust and rock, lay a small object unlike anything the Orvath had catalogued. Its surface was cracked and worn, yet a faint glow pulsed from within, almost imperceptibly. "Bring it aboard," Vryn ordered. His voice carried the authority of experience, but curiosity shone through. The relic floated into the cargo bay, illuminated by soft blue lights. The Orvath scholars crowded around it, their elongated limbs brushing against the metal railings. "It is worthless," scoffed Elder Kieran, his voice dripping with disdain. "Look at it, primitive, human in design. Even the most basic Orvath tools are far superior." Laughter erupted. The younger explorers mimicked human gestures, tilting their heads and making grunting noises. "Stone Age dreamers," one of them whispered, barely containing a chuckle. Yet not everyone laughed. One scholar, Tali, ran her delicate fingers over the surface of the relic. There were engravings, faint but deliberate, etched into the material with precision. "It is not useless," she said softly, more to herself than anyone else. "It reacts." Somehow, Vryn frowned. "Reacts? What do you mean?" Tali gestured at the device. She pressed her finger lightly against one of the lines. The artifact shivered and a low hum resonated through the room. The hum was soft at first, almost musical, but it grew steadily, vibrating through the floor and walls. The team jumped back, startled. Chiron waved his hands dismissively. A trick of sound. Humans loved their illusions. "This is nothing but a toy." But the hum continued. A faint image flickered above the device, forming a map of stars that none of the Orvath had seen before. Constellations shifted and pulsed, forming pathways between distant systems. The younger explorers gasped. Even Vryn leaned closer, frowning at the impossible geometry. "Impossible," he muttered. "This map? It cannot exist. Our sensors should have detected these systems long ago." Tali's eyes sparkled. "It comes from the humans," she whispered. "They mapped stars we have never even observed. They traveled where we dare not go." Kieran's face hardened. "Ridiculous. Humans never left their planets without Orvath oversight. This is nonsense, an artifact of imagination. We will not waste time with childish fantasies." Still, the device pulsed insistently. It seemed almost alive, responding to their curiosity, guiding them toward attention rather than dismissal. And then, without warning, the ship's instruments went haywire. Navigation readings fluctuated wildly. Sensors pinged with unknown signals, and communication with nearby vessels became scrambled. "Status report," Vryn barked. The control panels flickered as Tali struggled to stabilize the readings. It's linked to the artifact," she said, her voice tense. "The relic, when we study it, it changes the surrounding energy. It's not just a map. It's interacting with the ship itself," Karen snorted. "Interacting? It's causing interference. That is all. Humans were clumsy with their tools. Nothing more." But even as he spoke, the ship shuddered. A translucent shield formed around the cargo bay, encasing the team in a protective bubble of energy. The hum became a soft song, harmonizing with the ship's engines. The Orvath could feel the pulse in their bones, a rhythm that was neither mechanical nor entirely organic. "By the Creator," murmured one young engineer, barely audible. "It's alive." The room fell silent. Even Kieran's arrogance faltered, though he refused to show it. Tali knelt beside the relic, her hands trembling. She traced the lines with her fingers again, and the holographic map expanded, showing human ships navigating asteroid fields, dodging gravitational anomalies, and harvesting resources from planets with environments deadly to the Orvath. It was a dance of survival and ingenuity, executed with an elegance that the Orvath had never thought possible. Vryn studied the projections in awe. They adapted where we would fail. They survived in ways we cannot predict. Karen's voice was low, almost a growl. "This is impossible. Humans were primitive. They could not have done this. This map, this knowledge, it is fabrication. Nothing else can explain it. But what if it is real? Tali asked quietly. We have underestimated humans for too long. Perhaps their tools, their ingenuity, is far beyond what we have judged. The younger explorers began murmuring among themselves, the initial laughter and mockery giving way to cautious curiosity. They watched human ships crossing dangerous sectors, maneuvering with precision and creativity that no Orvath algorithm could replicate. Each new sequence revealed tactics, energy manipulation, and navigation strategies that challenged their understanding of physics and engineering. Vryn turned to Chiron. We need to study this further, carefully. If it is as it seems, humans were extraordinary. We cannot ignore this. Chiron's eyes narrowed, a storm of pride and disbelief warring within him. No, he said firmly. We will not celebrate humans. We will control this knowledge, nothing more. But as the team prepared to leave the asteroid, the Relic pulsed one last time. The energy shield expanded, encasing the ship entirely, and the map projected a single phrase in an ancient human script, now translated by the Orvath's universal translator. Survival is the measure of all life. The words echoed in their minds, simple yet profound. The Orvath had always measured power, knowledge, and perfection. But survival required ingenuity, adaptability, and courage. For the first time, they saw humans not as primitive beings, but as masters of resilience. The journey back to the Orvath homeworld was tense. The team remained silent, the Relic at the center of the cargo bay pulsing softly. Outside, the stars continued their endless march. The Orvath had long believed themselves alone at the pinnacle of intelligence. Now a small human device had challenged that belief, quietly and inexorably. By the time they arrived, the entire civilization would have to confront a simple truth. Humans, though far older and simpler than they imagined, had left a legacy that could not be ignored. And the Relic had only just begun to reveal it. The Orvath homeworld gleamed under twin suns, its surface a precise pattern of silver cities and crystalline towers. Yet, in the heart of their capital, tension spread faster than the light of their energy grids. The explorers had returned from the asteroid with the human Relic, and whispers of its revelations rippled through every hall of power. Vryn carried the artifact to the high assembly, his steps echoing on polished floors. He could feel the weight of history pressing against him, the burden of knowledge no Orvath had dared confront before. Scholars, engineers, and leaders gathered, their faces a mix of skepticism, curiosity, and unease. Elder Kieran stood at the back, his posture rigid, his pride barely contained. Citizens of the assembly, Vryn began, his voice steady. We have found a human artifact on a distant asteroid. At first it seemed trivial, primitive even, but it is far more than we imagined. This device contains knowledge, strategies, and energy methods beyond anything in our records. Gasps and murmurs spread through the room. Kieran stepped forward, his voice cold and commanding. This is preposterous. Humans were simple. Their tools could never compare to ours. Do not let sentiment cloud your judgment. Vryn turned to him, holding the Relic in his hands. I did not believe it at first either, Elder, but the artifact has proven itself. It shows star routes, energy manipulation techniques, and tactics humans use to survive in hostile regions. They thrived where we would have failed. Silence fell. The elders were torn between disbelief and the subtle unease gnawing at their pride. Humans had long been considered inconsequential, almost myth. To see proof of their ingenuity shook foundations built over millennia. Tali, the scholar who first recognized the Relic's potential, approached the assembly platform. The humans, they adapted. Their thinking was flexible, creative, unpredictable. Where we calculate and control, they survive. Their methods are not always precise by Orvath standards, but they work, and they endure. A young engineer named Lyran could not hide his excitement. With this technology, we can revolutionize our energy systems. Clean energy, limitless supply. Anything we attempt, it is already here in their designs. We just need to understand it. Chiron's voice cut through the growing enthusiasm. Do not be fooled by illusions. A small device cannot teach us more than our scientists already know. Humans may have survived, but they are not our equals. We are still the superior species. Yet even Kieran's words could not stop the subtle change spreading among the assembly. Delegates whispered, their curiosity growing, questions forming that could not be silenced. Over the following weeks, teams worked tirelessly. They replicated the human energy systems, cautiously integrating them into Orvath laboratories. The first attempts were cautious and often failed, but each failure brought understanding. Slowly, the energy output stabilized. Machines powered with human-derived methods ran cleaner, faster, and longer than any Orvath design. During one experiment, Lyran adjusted a resonance frequency, and a beam of energy shot into the ceiling of the lab, illuminating the room with a pure, steady light. The room held its collective breath. The machines hummed, perfectly synchronized with the human relic, demonstrating a level of efficiency that made even the most arrogant scholars pause. "This is extraordinary," Tali said, her voice trembling. "They were able to harness energy in ways we have only theorized. And this is only the beginning." Vryn nodded. "If humans could do this, imagine what other knowledge remains hidden in their relics. We may have underestimated them for far too long." Kieran's jaw tightened. He had always believed that Orvath intellect was unmatched, yet, here in the glow of the energy lab, he could not deny the truth. The relic had forced him to confront it. Humans, though simple in form, were brilliant in thought. Curiosity soon led the teams to explore the full potential of the artifact. When they followed its star map, they found an abandoned human outpost hidden in a remote sector. It was intact, preserved by shielding the Orvath could barely comprehend. Within its walls lay more devices, each one seemingly mundane, yet filled with hidden complexity. One device projected simulations of humans navigating environmental hazards, storms, earthquakes, radiation storms, and asteroid fields. Each simulation showed humans improvising, adapting, and solving problems in real time. The Orvath watched, enraptured. "See how they survive?" Tali said. "Every move is calculated yet flexible. They anticipate the unexpected and they endure. That is why they lasted," Lyran added. "And their machines? Every tool seems simple, yet it works in perfect harmony with its environment. They think differently. They adapt faster than our systems. Our technology is precise, but theirs is alive in a way ours cannot be." Word of the discovery spread across Orvath society. Cities buzzed with activity as engineers, scholars, and strategists attempted to replicate human methods. Debates erupted. Some elders resisted, fearing loss of authority, while younger minds embraced the chance to learn from a species they had once mocked. Kieran found himself confronted daily by proofs he could not deny. A human energy device powered an entire city district for weeks without maintenance. A navigation model showed how humans could traverse volatile sectors safely. Tactics used in simulations allowed Orvath fleets to avoid ambushes and conserve resources. Pride twisted in his chest. During a high-level council meeting, Vryn presented a startling revelation. "Humans were not just survivors," he said. "They were innovators. Every relic, every device we uncover, shows intelligence beyond mere survival. Strategic, adaptive, and creative intelligence. We have much to learn from them." The council was silent. Some delegates whispered anxiously. Others stared in awe at the projections and data being displayed. Kieran finally spoke, his voice quieter, more reflective. "Perhaps we misjudged them, perhaps we assumed that simplicity meant weakness, but we have seen the truth. Humans were extraordinary." The acknowledgement spread through Orvath society like wildfire. Prideful and cautious, they began integrating human methods into their technology, learning new strategies, improving their energy systems, and exploring sectors they had previously considered too dangerous. Human ingenuity became the catalyst for a renaissance among the Orvath. Months later, the relic pulsed once more, as if approving their progress. Its hum echoed through labs and halls, a constant reminder that knowledge could transcend species and appearance. It was small yet mighty, primitive yet brilliant. Vryn stood on a balcony overlooking the city, watching engineers test new energy devices inspired by human designs. Tali joined him, her face alight with excitement. "Do you see it?" she asked. "The Orvath are changing. We are learning, adapting, surviving better than ever before." Vryn nodded. "All because of them, humans. A species we mocked, now our teachers in ways we never imagined." Tali smiled. "It is humbling, isn't it? To realize that greatness can come from anywhere, that survival and creativity are the truest measures of strength." The sun dipped behind the crystalline towers, casting long, golden beams across the city. In the distance, the stars awaited, vast, mysterious, and full of potential. Thanks to a small human relic, The Orvath now understood that intelligence was not only measured in precision or control, but in adaptability, ingenuity, and courage. And somewhere far beyond the Orvath cluster, humans continued their journeys unaware of the legacy they had left behind, a legacy that had challenged a civilization, reshaped a species, and reminded the galaxy that even the simplest of tools, in the right hands, could change everything. The Orvath, once proud and unyielding, had learned a lesson they would never forget. True brilliance was not always obvious, and the human spirit, though long underestimated, was unstoppable.